Hey guys, Mr. Enyart here. Today we are going to be talking about Lesson 12 from Eureka Math Module 4 in 6th grade. We just finished up Lesson 11, so if you aren't sure about Lesson 12, feel free to go back and watch that video. Any questions or concerns or ideas, feel free to go ahead and leave comments at the bottom of this or Lesson 11's video. And while I was sitting around looking for something to do, I wrote this little jingle for all those who use my channel. Mr. Enyart is here to help. Let's go! All right, guys, so we're just going to start here at example 4 and then go over some exercises. But the key is to understand what expanded form is versus what factored form is and how we use the distributive property to help. But when you're looking at this right here, this is the factored form, okay? So factored form is when you've actually taken out the factor, and which is this number, that's the greatest common factor. So it started as 21D plus 12E because this 3 is the greatest common factor of the number that was here, which means the number that was here was divided by 3 to get 7. So I multiply 3 times 7, and I get my original number, and then put the variable where it goes. What was here, when divided by the 3, left me a 4, so that means 3 times 4 gives me what I started with, and I put it with that variable. So the expanded form that's equivalent is 21D plus 12E, which is 21 times D plus 12 times E. And then I can take a 3 out of 21 and 12, which is where this came from, and that leaves me 7 Ds and 4 Es. For these, creating a model, we're just going to do one. You really just want to understand what it's saying and break down the language. So this says 3 groups of, 3 times, because anything where a number is outside of a parentheses means you're going to be multiplying this number by what's inside. So I have 3 sets of x plus y. This could also be stated as the sum of x and y. So I'm going to start by drawing 2 boxes, one a little bigger than the other. I'm going to call this x, and I'm going to call this y, and I'm going to say that this is x plus y. Now that's just one. I have 3 of them. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. And as you can see, I have x plus y 3 times. So I would write that this way. So the second one would be 4 sets of 2h plus g, or 4 times the sum of 2h and g. So I've got 2h and g, 2hg, 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 4 times. See it? Cool. So all this is asking us to do is to take this factored form, remember this is the factored form, use the distributive property, which of course means to distribute what's outside the parentheses to each item in the parentheses by multiplication. So 8 times h plus 8 times 3, and to write it in expanded form. So looking at this, we would do 8 times h, which can be written 8h, and then 8 times 3, which of course is 24. So 8h plus 24 is the expanded form. Why don't you try number 4? Pause the video, and then check afterwards to see what the answer is. So we're going to multiply 3 times 2h, which of course is just going to be 6h. Then 3 times 7, I'll put my plus sign in there, which is 21. So I have 6h plus 21. So you get down to this one. This is the first one that's kind of different. And I want you to understand what it says. What I see is I've got 7k represented by this, and I've got 12m represented by this, and I have it this number of times, j times. So how would I write that in expanded form? Well, it looks like I have these two combined, which is 7k plus 12m. And I have that how many times? J times. Now, is that expanded form? No. So to expand that, I now have to take j times 7k, which is going to be 7kj, right? Because I'm multiplying the j by 7 and by k, plus j times 12 times m, which is going to be 12mj. Does that make sense? Look back and review if you need to. So just to go back to the language, we're doing 7k plus 12m j times. We're finding j amounts of the sum of 7k, or 7 times k, plus 12 times m. So when I did it this way, and I distribute my j to the 7 times k, that means I'm taking 7 times k times j. And we know that the order won't matter since I'm multiplying all the terms. I'm doing the same thing with j and the 12m. I'm doing 12m j times. So I write 12m j times by multiplying 12m by j. Remember, multiplication is the combination of equal groups. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over A, B, and C, and I'm just going to give answers and read them off, but I want you to pause the video and see if you can use the distributive property to write the following expressions, which are in factored form, in expanded form. Go ahead and try them now. Pause the video, then come back and check them to see if you get it. If you get them wrong, see what mistakes you're making and why, and pause it after each one if you are getting them wrong. Okay, so I'm going to assume you've worked on all the problems now. So let's go ahead and do A. All right, I'm going to zoom way in here. A is 4x plus y, or 4 sets of x plus y, which I would distribute the 4 to my x, which right now is just a 1x. So this is 4 x's. And I'm adding that to 4 y's. And those are equivalent. Okay, on to letter B. I have a plus b, the sum of a plus 3b, 8 times, which would be a 8 times. And then 8 times 3 is 24. And then, of course, b is also that number of times. And we are at 8a plus 24b. Okay, last one I'm going to do is 6x plus 33y. So, feel free to pause it, go back. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave your comments below. And as always, like, subscribe, and check me out on Twitter. And don't forget, Mr. Enyart is here to help. Let's go!